Hi everybody. So that's the brown pelican on that pylon right behind me, and so I'll be making a piece. I'll be most likely doing a painting for of the brown pelican. It's an iconic bird of the Florida Keys, and their wingspan is at least 4 feet, and they have this beak, and they have underneath this beak they have this pouch, and the pouch, they when they dive into the water, they use that beak like a big net, and they net up bait fish. And the brown pelican, typically, there he goes. Hi, we're at John Pennekamp State Park in Key Largo, and I want to show you a very important plant to the ecosystem down here. It's called the mangrove, and it grows here in the salt water. You can see its roots growing down. The mangrove provides a habitat for many animals, especially the brown pelican. The brown pelican will roost, make its nests on top of the mangroves. So the mangroves are very important. They're important for the fish. They hold the soil together. Their leaves produce, break up and provide food for the shrimp, and start the beginning of the marine food chain. Underneath them, swimming through those roots at high tide, are the mangrove snapper. Manatee swim through here. The mangrove is a plant that's protected here in Florida, and it's very important to the ecosystem. Hey, so I was so inspired being down in the Florida Keys and seeing the brown pelican that I'm going to paint one. So I've got some white, and I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to be painting the adult brown pelican. And to start off with, I'm going to paint this area right here, and this is going to be its head. And I'm using acrylic paint. And I am just lightly painting this whole area. This is called blocking in. So I'm going to block in this area right here. And as we saw, that the pelican is a bird of the tropics, and they feed on fish, and they live in the mangroves, and they have they're big birds. Their wingspan goes, I believe it goes up to 6 feet. And this is going to be the back of his neck, going down like this, right? Going down just like that. And so, a little earlier, I painted the back of this canvas green and blue on top with a little brown, give some background. And then this is gonna be the top of the pelican here. And this painting it's about life size. Pelicans are big birds. They're a lot lighter than they're big, but they're a lot lighter than they look. So I'm turning the brush a little bit so that I can go up in here, and this is gonna be the top feathers on its head, like that, coming up just like that. Now this will be the forehead of the bird right here. And I'll bring in a little more white down in here, like this. Just like that's the start. See how it's a shape? See how I made that shape? And I have found in nature and in how we observe images as the images we see are made up of shapes. That's going to be the shape of the head of the adult pelican, the adult brown pelican. They have a little bit of like a buff, a yellowish color on the top of the head. It's a buff color, so I'm going to add a little bit of that right up in here. Why I have this little bit of yellow like that, and just kind of, I'm real loosely putting that in. Pelicans eat fish. They love fish, and I was thinking about the pelican this morning about, you know, they're a nice bird. They're a nice bird to see, and they remind me of a fisherman. You know, nice going out there and to capture the They dive. What they use to get their food, as I showed you before, they have a pouch. It's like a net. It's located right here. We're gonna paint that in right here in a minute. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint the back of this bird. I'm gonna start with this is like a gray that I made up. It's this is ivory black with a little white. That's all it is. Just ivory black with a little white. And I'm going to paint the back, and I'll show you. So I'm gonna start here, and I'm gonna paint just real loosely like this. This is gonna be a wing of the pelican like this, coming in like that. That's gonna be its wing. And then I'm gonna hold the brush like this with my left hand, and I'm gonna hold the canvas like this, and I'm gonna make a move like this. I'll bring it, I don't want that in my paint, so I'll go like this. And I'm gonna use the edge of that brush, and then I'm just gonna pull the brush down like that. Turn it over. I've got a little paint on the other side. Turn it over. Now I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna take the paint up. There's a little bit of stuff in my paint. It's not that clean, unfortunately. Go like this, and just pull that line down. Keep pulling the line down like that. We're gonna smooth this all over like that, and block this area in. Okay, just block all this in. Now that I've finished blocking in the wing right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the bottom of the bird, and I've added a little, again, ivory black, some burnt umber, and white. Okay, and so we're going to make the bottom of the bird. And so I'm going to start right up here, and I'm just going to pull the brush down a lot, just like this. And once you get going, you know, then you can spin the brush over too, and then I'll turn it on completely on its edge to get this area right here. Just go like that. I'm going to bring the darker area up to the lighter area of the wing, and then as this is acrylic, I may so just like this is the darker area, and what we're doing is we're laying the foundation, and what we can do. And I'm gonna stop there. This area right here, I'm probably gonna come with a little white, but I am gonna bring this up a little bit like this, up into the neck area here, just like that. And you can see that this is the, that's gonna be the stomach. And I'm going to just make some marks like this with the brush. That's it. I'm just dragging the brush, and those are going to be the feathers of the bird. That's it. See how I did that? Easy peasy, just like that. This is a little transition area. What I call a transition is when you have the lighter color going into a darker color, or shape fitting into another shape. So I want to bring the neck to the wing, so that's easy to do by just filling in this with white, just like that. And that's all we're going to do for that. I am going to come back here, and with that little bit of white that I have, I'm going to mix it, and I'm going to make this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see this little blue line. I'm going to cover that, but I'm going to cover it in strokes that are moving down like that. And that's going to be the feathers of the bird, like that. They're downward strokes like that. Those feathers lay on top of each other like that. And that's how that goes. I'm pulling the brush down. And that's its shoulder right there. And then this area right here, you know, it's another transition area. These areas right here, we're just going to clean that up. I'm spinning the brush around. I'm holding it on the edge like that, like that. Then I did notice that his top wing is going to be right here, the back wing. And that is going to go like that. I'm going to pull that down like that. That's its back. That's the far wing. I'll add a little brown, to give depth, right, like that. Blend it in a little bit like that. That's going to be its back wing coming down into there, and then a little bit of this white where that goes into where the neck goes in. So you have this is the front wing, that's the back wing, that's the neck going up, and that's the head, the forehead, and a little bit of yellow on there. Now we can paint. We can dive into this area right here. This is a more detailed area. So we're going to focus in around its eye, this bill. And so to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, to keep, you know, things coherent, I'm just adding a little bit of white, a little bit of yellow, and I'm making this bill color. And now to paint that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start like right here. I'm going to pull this down like this. And we're going to just paint this. This is going to be the bottom of the bill. Pelicans have a long bill, and the brown pelican is a diving bird. They dive, the majority of the time, they're diving on their prey from above. I do have some video of them swimming and netting the fish. Okay, so we have that. Now I'm going to do the continue to go forward. And to make this color, I just added a little bit of white, a little bit of ivory black, a little bit of light yellow, and now I'm holding the brush on the edge and pulling it down just like that, and now I'm turning it, and that's going to be the hook of the bill. They have a little hook there, pulling the brush on the side and pulling up like that, like that. All right. So as you can see, we're getting our bill all dialed in there. I'm going to do the top. Now here, this is the top of the bill. Again, I'm holding the brush on the edge like this with my hand out. I'm going to start with this outer edge. I'm pulling down. I'm going to start again. I like to, once I start, I just hold it pull it down, 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 pull it. Go back up, right there. And that will turn, and that will become the hook of that. So you can see the formation of the bill right there. You have the front, the side, this is the bottom. And then this area right here is the pouch that they use to capture their prey. But why I've got this, I added a little brown to my brush, a little ivory black. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that pouch color. I added ivory black, burnt umber, a little bit of white, and this is going to be the pouch right here. I think I need a little more black to that. Kind of delineate that. Goes like this up to here. See how I'm moving my hand, constantly moving my hand like that. By doing that, it's just a blending of the. By constantly moving my hand like that, I'm blending the paint, and it smooths it out. And you know what I'm really doing is amongst other things, is I'm transferring my energy into that, and. So that's going to be his pouch, and go up like this, up like that, and let's just go a little bit down like that, and so there we have it, and just leave it like that. I'm going to take that same color and I'm going to sneak it up. I'm going to sneak it up into around the eye like this. I'll sneak it like that. And I'll work it into that area like that. Sneak it in while that's still wet. And then I'm going to just keep moving the brush. And when you have this, so there you have it. And that's going to be his eye. And all right, I'm using a thinner brush, and I've got this pole to kind of help me out with my balance. And so as I paint this, and I'm painting its iris like this. See how I did that? So we're going to use this thinner brush, and we're going to zero in and focus on painting the pupil. So here's another transition area. It's the neck, and it's just painting in a shape. It's this area right here. So it's part of his neck. So the neck, I'm just painting this area, bringing it up, using the edge of my brush. Coming down here. So I'm gonna pull this line. I'm gonna get the paint on the brush. I'm gonna hold the brush on the edge. I don't like how this makes a little bump in like that. So I want to pull from the top of this down to fill in that bump. Okay, that's what I want to do. And so while I'm doing this, I'm going to be strengthening the paint. I'm holding it on the edge, and I'm just going to pull it down. And I'm turning my hand at this simultaneously. Go ah. Okay. Clean that up. So I'm going to start by adding that to here to give, we're going to start trying to bring the painting all together like that. This is the very top part of his bill where it goes into the forehead like that. I got some more details put in the beak, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the very bottom of the bird, which is the deepest shadow, because the sun is hitting on the top of the bird and going down, so the deepest shadow is at the bottom, and then I'm going to go out into the feet. Now the pelican has 4 toes, and they have a web. They have a membrane, just like a duck's foot. The duck's foot is webbed. The pelican's foot is all the toes are webbed, and they're very strong swimmers. So I want to show you that it's quite impressive. They're very strong paddlers. Okay, so for the darker of the bottom, and I just mix that in up like this. Just like that. It's probably sneaking a little bit. Now let's go into his feet. I'm using black to carve out the foot so that you can tell that this is the foot of the pelican. And I'm just going to add a little more dark here, and I'll pull that up on the toe. And see these little areas right here? This is, I'm going to just clean that up. That's the background coming through. But those are the areas that a lot of times the human eye will go to. I finished the front foot, and you can see that it has 4 toes and all the toes are webbed. Now I'm going to paint the back foot, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just paint it black because it's in the background, and then I'll probably paint a little, like a light grayish white on the front to give it the light coming through. So this is where we're going to go for the back foot here. There you go. Now I'm painting the back foot right here, and this is going to go, and then it's going to, I'm going to leave a gap right there, and that's going to come out and be one of the toes, and then it's going to turn, and then that's going to be another one of the toes like that. And and then what I'll do, just bring that up like this. This is going to probably go something like this. And then I'll just add a lot lighter color to the front of that, because that's going to be the light coming into the light, right, like that. And fill this in, because we know that that area is webbed. And then this area right here is webbed right here. Okay, so that's his other foot. Like that. Now I'm going to fill in with lighter brown right here. While I'm waiting for the foot to dry, I'm going to do a little detail around the eye, and they have, right around their eye, they have a little bit of flesh color. So I'm just going to you see how I kind of stab the brush a little bit into the, just a little bit, just stab it into the gray, because you're at that tiny little bit of, you know, that small level. Things aren't perfect, but down in there, it may look round, but it's all, so that's it. Hi everybody, I just got back from a short dive in this mini sub Shackleton, and I want to finish up this painting, and I just have, all I'm going to do is sign it, and it's done. But before I sign it, I want to show you what I've done to finish the painting. In the background, I added the mangroves, which are very, very important to the brown pelican. The brown pelican uses the mangroves to nest, and the mangroves, as I talked about earlier, are really, really important to the marine ecosystem. This is the mangroves right here, and these are its roots. It grows in salt water, like I talked about. Right here, I added some waves on top of the water, and then I went down and I added where the little shoreline, a little wave down there. So right now I'm going to sign it, and this brown pelican painting will be done. Hey everybody, so now we have the minstrel of the North Atlantic. He's going to join us, and he's going to be playing his song on the brown pelican.
I wish so high and see the fish swim by. I can't perch on a pilot all day and see the comings and the goings of everything in the bay. No, I can't, but the Pelican can. Oh yeah, the brown Pelican can. I can sing, but I can't take to the wing with all of my relations in free formations. I can't vouch with my gular pouch all full of bait and say that it tastes great. No, I can't, but the Pelican can. Oh yeah, the brown Pelican can. I had a mouthful of fish. I'd soar so high and see the fish swim by. Yeah, I'd fly so high and see you by and by. No, I can't, but the Pelican can. Oh yeah, the brown Pelican can.
See you later.